Welcome to Cozy Talks with Rosie Quartz, where I unpack the emotional lessons behind my songs, love life, and everything in between. I'm a singer-songwriter from Melbourne, and I've written a collection of songs that basically unravel the ups and downs I've been through within my love life, from the messy dating experiences in my early 20s, heartbreak to hard truths, and then finally finding contentment. Today's episode sits within the lovesick era, with the first song of this era being Red Wine. Now, if anything that I say in this video resonates with you, go stream the song, sit in the fields with me, because we're in this together. Sipping on some tea today while I'm spilling the tea. I can't wait. Okay, so let's talk about single life. In the last episode, we were in the exploration era where I spoke about the freedom of being freshly single, and I still think there was something really beautiful about that chapter. But in this episode, we're going to look at the other side of it. When I first became single, after my first serious relationship back in 2019, I remember feeling such a new, fresh sense of freedom. Suddenly I had so much time and I fully leaned into it. I spent more time with friends and family, I picked up new hobbies, and honestly I just enjoyed doing whatever I wanted without having to consider anyone else. So yeah, for a while it felt amazing. But eventually that quiet feeling started to creep in. Loneliness. Friends and family can definitely fill your cup, but I just feel like there's this different kind of intimacy that comes from having your person. Someone who just knows your inner world, knows you inside and out, and you get to experience all of life's amazing things with. So I think when that's gone, you really notice it in the small moments, as small as just coming home to an empty bed, not having, your loved one waiting for you. The silence just starts to feel so much louder. And this is where I believe hopeless romantics struggle the most. When you're someone who naturally craves a deep connection, being single just isn't about missing a person now. It's about missing the feeling of being emotionally entwined with someone. So I think when you start to miss that feeling enough, you can start to search for it anywhere. And you might find that you mistake that grief for proof that you should go get back with your ex, or you should desperately go and try and find someone else to fill that hole that you now feel. But I think there's a difference between wanting love, genuinely wanting it, and needing someone to avoid sitting with yourself. So at this point in time, I couldn't differentiate the two. I was like, oh no, do I want to be in a relationship again already? Or do I want this time? And I think I knew deep down, I definitely wanted that time. I wanted to be able to stay single. That's the whole reason why I left, right? But yeah, the loneliness was just so bloody hard. So for me, the loneliness quietly turned into a desperate search for a temporary fix. I started going on dates casually, not necessarily because I was ready for another relationship, but because I was desperately trying to fill that gap, to feel chosen, to feel good enough, to not feel so alone. But the problem is, I had barely healed from my previous relationship. I thought I wanted freedom and independence in my early 20s. I thought I wanted to figure out what I wanted in a partner before I felt like I was at a stage in my life where I wanted to settle down, because I think just being in a serious relationship for 3 years when you're young, you come to a point where you're like, okay, wow, we've been together for a long time now, but I don't feel anywhere near ready to confirm that this is my person, and I want to go and do all those things, get married, have kids. I was like, I don't know that. This guy was my first everything, so I didn't know any different. So that anxiety crept in hard. But no matter how hard I tried to be on my own, I really, really struggled. So when I did go on dates, and they were really good and exciting, it was problematic for me. I attached a meaning to them a little too quickly. And that's actually where my song Red Wine came from. That's what it was written about. Me wondering whether what was casual could be more. And I know I'm not the only person who has experienced that. I feel like there's a lot of little hopeless romantics where suddenly something casual becomes like your whole focus. And then it all just becomes very emotionally intense. You go through that cycle of hope and then excitement and then overthinking, only for it to lead to disappointment. Because when you're in that space, you're not just dating. You're constantly managing your emotions, trying to keep them in check, because you're like, don't get attached. It's fine. This is just casual. I can do something just casual, you know. But your heart is like not letting you do that. So it's frustrating, right? It's frustrating. And then all of a sudden it all becomes this weird emotional game that you never signed up for. And over time, it stops feeling light and it stops feeling fun. This is the part that I wish I understood back then. Loneliness feels uncomfortable, and that's okay for it to feel uncomfortable. It's not always something we have to escape. Like, it's human nature for us not to want to feel uncomfortable emotions, right? So the second they come along, we want to do whatever we can to escape them. But I wish I had learned to just sit with that, knowing that it's okay to feel lonely and not do anything about it right now, because you're healing. Like, it's so expected that you're going to feel lonely. That's normal, girl. That's normal, you know? If I was just able to push through that loneliness, it would have saved me a whole lot of pain later down the track. Because the path that I go on to is one that, sure, escapes loneliness, but comes with a whole lot more bullshit. It was a relationship that came with toxic patterns, and the consequences were like horrible to my mental health. So it was not worth the rush in the end. We'll be discussing that more though in the next episode. Sometimes we rush to avoid loneliness without realizing that not every connection is safe just because it feels like relief. You might think, okay, I need to get out of this loneliness, let me go pursue this person. Suddenly they're this safety net for you, but you've got to be so careful with like who you choose. It's such an important thing, and I feel like sometimes we're not strict enough with that. We'll settle for less than we deserve when we're lonely, and it's something that's really easy to fall into if you're really not careful. So with all of that said, I didn't really know how to sit with my loneliness without it turning into attachment. So please be careful. I know it is tough, but it is okay to sit with the loneliness. Just know that it's temporary. So I just hope if you're watching and resonating, I've been able to give you an insight on the dark sides of being single and why it's not always exciting, fun, and thrilling. You know what I mean? Like, and it can be those things, but a lot of the time you'll get that at the start, and then soon enough the novelty of it all starts to wear off. So yeah, just look after yourself and know that everything's gonna be okay. So that brings us to the end of this episode, because what comes next in the story is the unhinged era. Strap in. Thank you so much for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.